Good. Good. Good evening, everyone. We're going to ask everyone just to grab their seats if you haven't already, and those that are standing, continue standing. And we appreciate folks that have joined us this evening. I'm for those of you that don't know me or I haven't had the pleasure to meet. My name is Jeff Lees, and I'm the Chief Administrative Officer here at the town of Penetanguishene. And it's certainly my privilege to be standing in front of you this evening. I'd like to welcome everyone to the inaugural meeting of council for the 2022-2026 council term. A part of my role here this evening is to let everyone know that this meeting is being live streamed, and it will be audio as well as video recorded and then posted onto our corporate website. We do this so that the public has an opportunity to view the meeting from the comfort of their home, as well as have the ability to view the ceremony at a later date. At this point, I would just ask if everyone, for those that have cell phones, if you can turn them off or turn them onto vibrate or turn the sound off, that would be tremendous. So at this point, I think we all know in our municipal world that we don't have a meeting without council. So let's get this evening started and get the meeting underway. If everyone can please rise, and we will be joined by council. Thank you very much. Beth DeRoche was our piper, and we'd really like to express our appreciation to Beth. If everyone can please remain standing, we'd now like to welcome the Burkeville School Choir to sing O Canada.
In all of us come
What a talented group of young students. We really appreciate that you've taken time out of your evening to be a part of our inaugural meeting here at the town of Penetanguishene. Thank you very much. Everyone can please be seated. Now, I would like to acknowledge that the town of Penetanguishene is on the traditional and treaty territory of the Anishinaabe people and their ancestors, now known as the Williams Treaties First Nations territory. This includes the Chippewa Tri-Council, comprised of Beausoleil First Nation, Rama First Nation, and the Georgina Islands First Nation, Alderville, Curve Lake, Hiawatha, and Mississaugas of Scugog Island First Nations. Also, once the home of the Huron-Wendat, and more recently, the historic settlement of the Métis, Penetanguishene is now home to many Indigenous peoples. Penetanguishene is proud of its Indigenous name, and more importantly, that for thousands of years, it has been and will continue to be an important homeland and gathering place for Indigenous people. We recognize that we are the stewards and caretakers of these lands and waters, and are responsible to ensure that our mother, the earth, is here for future generations. Thank you. At this point, I would like to introduce the Chigamik Drum Circle. And if they would like to join us, that would be wonderful. And we appreciate them being with us as well.
Our first song is called Wichita. It's a water song. And the song is written by the lake of Tennessee, the big island, with the big water all around, and the water is here. So that was our first song. When we song, we always have 4 meanings from these. before the elections. And also, most songs are sung 4 times through. Our next song is Inaugural, and the Creator has given us a beautiful world to live in. We have so much to be grateful for and thankful. So when you're out for night stroll in these first days, look around at the trees, look at the little pigeons, the little squirrels running and playing in the snow, and be grateful and talk to them. Talk to the Creator, talk to the trees, talk to the animals. That's what we're saying. Sorry, who did I say? Oh, okay, thank you. The other one. Neomanate also did this. No, we only wrote this down, not the other part. I was in my lady. Well, and who wrote it for me? I forgot her name. I think it was Bonnie something. Oh, okay. Well, we can't all be perfect. It's right here that helps us forget. And we're going to sing through.
Thank you very much to the Chugamak Drum Circle for that moving and touching and tremendous ceremony and performance. Thank you very much for being with us this evening. At this point in the ceremony, I'd like to introduce our clerk for the town of Penetanguishene, Stacy Cooper. Stacy is going to call the meeting to order and administer the declarations of office.
Thanks, staff. Welcome, everyone. I'd like to officially call the meeting to order as the chair. And as the clerk of town Penetanguishene, I will be administering the oaths of office for the newly elected council. I'll be calling their names in alphabetical order. And to start, Benita DeRush.
I, Benita DeRush, having been elected to the office of councillor in the town of Penetanguishene, do solemnly promise and declare that I will truly, faithfully, and impartially exercise this office to the best of my knowledge and ability. I have not received and will not receive any payment or reward or promise thereof for the exercise of this office in a biased, corrupt, or in any other improper manner. I will disclose any pecuniary interest, direct or indirect, in accordance with the Municipal Conflict of Interest Act. I will be faithful and bear true allegiance to His Majesty King Charles III. And I make this solemn promise and declaration conscientiously, believing it to be true and knowing that it is of the same force and effect as if made under oath.
Next, I will call Doug LaRue.
I, Doug LaRue, having been elected to the office of councillor in the town of Penetanguishene, do solemnly promise and declare that I will truly, faithfully, and impartially exercise this office to the best of my knowledge and ability. I have not received and will not receive any payment or reward or promise thereof for the exercise of this office in a biased, corrupt, or in any other improper manner. I will disclose any pecuniary interest, direct or indirect, in accordance with the Municipal Conflict of Interest Act. I will be faithful and bear true allegiance to His Majesty King Charles III. I make this solemn promise and declaration conscientiously believing it to be true and knowing that it is of the same force and effect as if made under oath.
Next, I'd like to call Suzanne Marchand.
I, Suzanne Marchand, having been elected to the office of counselor in the town of Penetanguishene, do solemnly promise and declare that I will truly, faithfully, and impartially exercise this office to the best of my knowledge and ability. I have not received and will not receive any payment or reward or promise thereof for the exercise of this office in a biased, corrupt, or in any other improper manner. I will disclose any pecuniary interest, direct or indirect, in accordance with the Municipal Conflict of Interest Act. I will be faithful and bear true allegiance to His Majesty King Charles III. And I make this solemn promise and declaration consciously, believing it to be true and knowing that it is of the same force and effect as made under oath.
Next, I would like to call George Vadaboncourt.
I, George Vadabon, having been elected to the office of counselor in the town of Penetanguishene, do solemnly promise and declare that I will truly, faithfully, and impartially exercise this office to the best of my knowledge and ability. I have not received and will not receive any payment or reward or promise thereof for the exercise of this office in a biased, corrupt, or any other improper manner. I will disclose any pecuniary interest, direct or indirect, in accordance with the Municipal Conflict of Interest Act. I will be faithful and bear true allegiance to His Majesty, King Charles III. And I made this solemn promise and declaration conscientiously, believing it to be true and knowing that it is of the same force and effect as if made under oath. Thank you.
Next, I would like to call Bill Waters.
I, Bill Waters, having been elected to the office of counselor in the town of Penetanguishene, do solemnly promise and declare that I will truly, faithfully, and impartially exercise this office to the best of my knowledge and ability. I have not received, nor will I receive, any payment or reward or promise thereof for the exercise of this office in a biased, corrupt, or in any other improper manner. I will disclose any pecuniary interest, direct or indirect, in accordance with the Municipal Conflict of Interest Act. I will be faithful and bear true allegiance to His Majesty King Charles III. And I make this solemn promise and declaration conscientiously, believing it to be true and knowing that it has the same force and effect as if made under oath.
Next, I would like to call Dan La Rose.
I, Dan LaRose, having been elected to the office of Deputy Mayor in the town of Penetanguishene, do solemnly promise and declare that I will truly, faithfully, and impartially exercise this office to the best of my knowledge and ability. I have not received and will not receive any payment or reward or promise thereof for the exercise of this office in a biased, corrupt, or any other improper manner. I will disclose any pecuniary interest, direct or indirect, in accordance with the Municipal Conflict of Interest Act. I will be faithful and bear true allegiance to His Majesty the King Charles III. And I make this solemn promise and declaration conscientiously believing it to be true and knowing that it is of the same force and effect as if made under oath. There we go.
Thank you. Congratulations. And finally, I would like to call Doug Rossin.
I, Doug Rossin, having been elected to the office of mayor in the town of Penetanguishene, do solemnly promise and declare that I will truly, faithfully, and impartially exercise this office to the best of my knowledge and ability. I have not received and will not receive any payment or reward or promise thereof for the exercise of this office in a biased, corrupt, or in any other improper manner. I will disclose any pecuniary interest, direct or indirect, in accordance with the Municipal Conflict of Interest Act. I will be faithful and bear true allegiance to His Majesty King Charles III, and to make this solemn promise and declaration conscientiously believing it to be true and knowing that it is of the same force and effect as if made under oath.
Congratulations.
Thank you, Stacy. At this point, we would like to invite Doug Rossin Sr. to assist us in the honor of placing the chain of office on the mayor. Thank you very much, Doug Rossin Sr. for that. At this point, we would like to make a special little presentation to our now Mayor Doug Rossin's wife, Dawn, as well as their three children. I like to call the wife and the three children Doug's informal executive team that's going to guide him through these next 48 months. So at this point, I would just ask our clerk, Stacy, to come to Dawn as well as the three children to make a special little presentation. Want me to get them up? So Dawn, as well as their three children, Alex, Reed, and Morgan, we know over the next 4 years, we're going to be calling upon you, the four of you, to support Doug and his council, as well as the municipality as a whole, And we know that it can be a lot of work and effort and support to support the mayor. So we really appreciate you being with us this evening, as well as supporting us over the next 4 years. Thank you very much.
Thank you, everyone. It is now my great pleasure to announce and hereby declare council to be duly sworn. Mayor Roston, you may have the chair.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Wow, what an emotional night. We're just starting. I'll try to stay composed. Thank you, Jeff. Thank you, Stacy. Honored guests, residents, friends, family, and fellow council members and staff. Good evening. Bonsoir, Hanin. Welcome and bienvenue to the inaugural meeting of our council for 2022 to 2026. I'm happy to be joined by this group that you've elected to represent this community in this next term. A very special warm welcome to our new council members, Councillor Benita DeRush, Councillor Bill Waters, and Councillor Suzanne Marchand. Welcome. And also a special warm welcome in return for Councillor Vadabunker, Councillor LaRue, and to Deputy Mayor LaRose. I want to thank our previous council led by Mayor LaRue. You know, they were here 4 years ago at the start of their inaugural, not understand that they're about to be faced with a global pandemic. And they had goals and aspirations and objectives, which they achieved, faced with something that they had no idea was going to come before them. So to you, Doug, I want to thank you for guiding the municipality, leading the municipality, and for everything that you and your council did. I want to also express a special thanks to our previous Deputy Mayor Dubo. Anita here tonight, who served this town graciously, selflessly for years and years and years and years. And with that, we can't say enough thank you. So thank you to you. Also to Councillors Mayat and Levy, who aren't here this evening, but them too have served this town graciously over the years. And I want a special thank you to them as well. I want to thank Councillors Cummings and Sandeman Clue as well for your work in the last term of working with Mayor LaRue. Again, we're here to represent the community, and we're going to do the best we can as we move forward. And we're going to do that with the expert advice from our staff as we move forward. We're going to move on to the next part of our agenda tonight, and that's a blessing. And I'm going to welcome Reverend Father Doug to perform a blessing for our council.
St. Paul in his letter to the Romans says, "Let every soul be subject unto the higher powers, for there is no power but of God, the Creator. The powers that be are ordained of God." The grace of our Lord Jesus Christ and the love of God and the fellowship of the Holy Spirit be with you all. Let us pray. Almighty God and Lord of all power and mercy, we, your humble people, beseech thee to send forth upon thy servants who bear office in this town of Penetanguishene a spirit of charity and justice, that they may walk prudently before thee in truth and righteousness with a steadfast purpose, to faithfully and impartially serve thee and the people of this community in their various and sundry offices with peace, order, and good government. We offer supplication for our newly elected mayor and councillors, the respective spouse and families, that charity within a peace-filled harmony be ever present in their lives and within their households. We pray for the staff and employees of this town of Penetanguishene, that they would be encouraged and respected in their duties and requirements, in such manner that your guiding and guarding presence be known and felt amongst them in dailiness. And we beseech thee, O Lord, to prosper and bless the peoples and citizenry of this community we call Penetang and the surrounding area. Endue within us a sense of cooperation, lawful abidance, and a healthful and happy existence that prevails in our daily lives, that we may continue to prosper in all our doings for the greater good. And we shall be careful to give unto you, O Lord, all honor, glory, and praise, as we are ever bold to say, Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come. Thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive them that trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory, forever and ever. Amen. I would ask that the mayor and council please stand to receive the blessing. The peace of God, which passeth all understanding, keep your hearts and minds in the knowledge and love of God and of his Son, Jesus Christ. And the blessing of God Almighty, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit be upon you and remain with you always. Amen and amen. One last note, I am available for you anytime.
Thank you very much, Father Doug. We're going to proceed with greetings, and we'd like to begin with greetings from our MP from Simcoe North, Adam Chambers, who unfortunately couldn't be with us this evening, but we do have a recorded greeting from Adam.
Bonsoir tout le monde. Félicitations. Congratulations on your recent election victories. I'm looking forward to working with all of you on our shared priorities to make Penetanguishene an absolutely wonderful and welcoming place for newcomers and our residents alike. I'm sorry I couldn't be there with you to celebrate tonight, but I look forward to seeing you soon.
Next, I would like to invite Leslie Stroud, the representative of MPP, the Honorable Jill Dunlop, to the podium to express some words on behalf of Jill Dunlop.
Thank you, Mayor Rawson. Good evening. It is my privilege to join you all today on behalf of Honorable Jill Dunlop, MPP for Simcoe North. MPP Dunlop wishes she could be here herself. However, it was not possible due to requirements to be sitting in legislature at Queen's Park. MPP Dunlop has provided recognition scrolls from the province and has asked me to extend her best wishes and sincere congratulations to all of the town of Penetanguishene elected council members. Today's inauguration ceremony marks the beginning of your commitment to serve the town of Penetanguishene to the best of your abilities, continuing to build on previous projects and working together to ensure a robust and resilient community. MPP Dunlop looks forward to assisting you with provincial issues, identifying opportunities to rebuild Ontario's economy, and supporting rural growth and development to benefit both families and businesses. Thank you in advance for your leadership, as MPP Dunlop recognizes that much success can be achieved by working together with vision and determination. On behalf of the province of Ontario, congratulations and much success as leaders in the town of Penetanguishene. Thank you.
Thanks very much, Leslie, for being part of our ceremony this evening. Next, I'd like to welcome Warden George Cornell to the podium to say a few words on behalf of the County of Simcoe.
Thank you very much. Good evening. Bonsoir, Annie. Your worship, Mayor Rawson. Sounds pretty good, eh? I first want to congratulate you on a very, very inclusive ceremony that you've had here this evening. Very impressive and well done for your inaugural meeting. And I think that's a wrap for North Simcoe. All of the councils here in North Simcoe have now been sworn in. And it's great to see that earlier today I was at Tiny's inaugural, and again tonight that you've got many of your neighbors here with you, joining you in support. And I think that speaks well for North Simcoe and what lies ahead. So congratulations to all. Certainly on behalf of the County of Simcoe, it is my pleasure to bring greetings. Each of you now have come through a successful campaign, and you had the opportunity to knock on doors, to listen to residents, to hear their ideas, their concerns. You also had the chance to share your thoughts and your visions with the residents. And I think, thinking back to my days of campaigning, that's a really, really important element of this whole process that we're involved with. And I think stead you well in terms of this next 4 years that you're about to embark on, to have that unique opportunity to hear from each of the residents that you visit at their door, and for them to hear from you, and hence what you had to say got you to where you are here today. To the mayor and deputy mayor, and what was that, La Rose? Welcome to, yeah, there's an inside joke there, I think, yeah. welcome to County Council. I had the opportunity, they went through some orientation yesterday. I had the opportunity to listen to the introductions, and as a county, it was pretty exciting to hear the diverse backgrounds that we have coming to County Council, the representation across the county, and the excitement and enthusiasm to get going on the job. So look forward to that and welcome. Again, my congratulations to the council. I know the community is in good hands. You have excellent staff under the leadership of CIO Lees. And if I can, I'd like to leave you with a couple of thoughts. You heard CIO Lees say that no meeting really happens without council at the table. And I would just suggest that when you do come to a meeting, come informed, be reasonable, and most importantly, be respectful to each other as you deliberate and make decisions in the best interest of this community as a whole. So thank you very much. Merci, miigwech.
Thank you, George, and thank you for your years of service. I know you too led the county as the warden for the last 4 years through the pandemic, so extra special thank you to you. Now I'd like to welcome Councillor Trevor Reed from Bosley First Nation to the podium for a couple welcome remarks. Thank you, Councillor Reed, and all our best to your chief and council and your community, and appreciate your participation tonight. I'd like to welcome Greg Garrett to the podium to speak on behalf of the Georgian Bay Métis Council.
Thank you, Your Worship and new council. Nice to see you all here, looking your best. Tanchi, hello, bonjour, Ani. Congratulations to Mayor and Council. Last week, we acknowledged and celebrated Louis Riel Day, which falls on the 16th of November. Since the story of Riel bears on today's events and historical changes, I'd like to speak to it. November 9th in history is very important to Métis as we travel back to November 9th, 1885. It's a very crucial and pivotal day, one that would affect our history, even in our communities and for generations to come. On August 1st, 1885, Louis Riel was convicted of treason and sentenced to hang. On September 9th, Manitoba Court of Queen's Bench rejects Riel's appeals. October 22nd, 1885, Judicial Committee in London refuses to hear Riel's appeal. And on November 3rd, 1885, James Wicks asked the State Department of Washington to intervene and appeal for Riel's life, and all was ignored. This brings us to November 9th, 1885, the final and last appeal for Riel's life is brought to the attention of the Prime Minister of Canada. The reports sent to the Prime Minister of Canada are ignored. November 16th, 1885, Riel is hung in Regina. November 9th is so important to us. It was the final appeal for Riel's life, the day our Prime Minister chose to ignore important reports about Louis Riel, which may have saved his life and the start of Métis being invisible. On this day, I have chosen to reflect, understand, and share this history, an important day, with my Métis family and community, to bring awareness and recognition of this important pivotal day in our history. To have the Métis here today, for this occasion, for the first time in anyone's memory, marks the beginning of new relationships with this government. This is an important relationship as the highest density of Métis population resides in this area with over 25% of all Métis in Ontario. To be invited to engage with the communities we reside in is a true action of reconciliation, and I'm certainly happy to say thanks for this opportunity in behalf of our Métis Council and to acknowledge the direction of this council on this historic occasion, the new beginning of government to government relationships. Merci, miigwech, and thank you.
Thank you very much, Greg. And Gagne, I'd ask if you can come to the podium and say a couple words on behalf of our Francophone community.
Monsieur le maire adjoint, membre du conseil. D'abord, merci pour cette invitation à participer à l'inauguration du nouveau conseil municipal en tant que citoyenne et représentante de la communauté francophone que vous représentez comme nouveaux élus de notre belle et unique ville. J'en profite pour ajouter, si vous me permettez, que je crois que l'esprit de mon mari défunt Yvon doit planer en quelque part ici ce soir, tenu l'événement qui est ici. Laissez-moi, si vous me permettez aussi, prendre une occasion de la part des citoyens et citoyennes de remercier, comme Monsieur le maire vient de le faire, le conseil qui vient de terminer son mandat. Un mandat compliqué, très différent de tous les autres à cause de COVID. Merci au maire, ancien maire Doug Leroux, Anita Dubois, comme il a été dit, aux autres conseillers qui ont travaillé si fort pour nous desservir pendant les dernières années. Quant au nouveau conseil, inauguré ce soir, bienvenue et félicitations aux nouvelles personnes et anciennes qui sont ici autour de la table. Au nom de vos citoyens et citoyennes francophones, je vous souhaite la plus cordiale bienvenue dans vos nouvelles fonctions publiques. Permettez-moi de vous offrir aussi nos meilleurs souhaits devant votre nouvel mandat qui débute. Le respect que vous portez à la reconnaissance de notre héritage bilingue et la part jouée par la francophonie dans l'établissement de notre belle communauté de Penetanguishene nous est bien cher. Sachez que nous, les francophones, sommes et serons prêts à vous appuyer et aider dans vos prises de décision qui, croyons, seront toujours pour le plus grand bien de tous, l'épanouissement de notre communauté et l'avenir prometteur de nos familles. Merci. Merci beaucoup. Your Worship, I would like to indicate that I have left a translation of my presentation with Jeff, your CAO, for those members who do not speak the language and that should be interested in knowing what I said about them and to them. And if I may close on a lighter note for the people that I'd like to repeat what I said a while ago in French, that I'm sure that due to similar events held over 32 years, my late husband Yvon's spirit must be hovering somewhere in here tonight. And I'm sure that he would be very happy with those that have been elected. Good luck. Merci. Thank you.
And merci beaucoup. During our election campaign, several members of council here and people that ran the campaign had correspondence from our local school, James Keating, and the youth participated in student vote, and they asked us questions, and they were part of the conversation. They want to be part of the conversation. And Hayden Cowell is one of those individuals who asked us questions. And we've reached out to Hayden and asked if he would like to bring the youth voice to our conversation tonight. So Hayden, if you're able and willing and can, we'd invite you to the podium and share your thoughts with our council.
Hello, my name is Hayden Cowell. I am 9 years old and I am in 5th grade at James Keating Elementary School. I would like this time to congratulate everyone on this election. During the past municipal election, our class participated in a municipal student vote. We researched the candidates and by emailing them questions, and we were able to cast student votes in the election. We enjoyed the responses, and I was the one to pick our new mayor, Doug Rawson. In this generation, there is a lot of stress for kids because of people not listening to them. Children can have great ideas on how to fix a thing or two, or of how to help problems such as things like global warming. All you need to do is listen, because sometimes people like me and other kids can make a big change kids could help solve problems. I can ask that the town is proposing changes to our community, that kids' voices should be heard. Thank you for listening to what I had to say.
Hayden, thank you for the courage to speak tonight. We spoke to the clerk earlier, Stacy over there. She has your nomination papers ready for future election. I'd like to invite CEO Jeff Lees to the podium to speak on behalf of our staff and administration team.
Thank you, Mayor Rossin, and what an act to follow, let me tell you. Well done, Hayden. Again, I'd like to welcome everyone to the Town of Penetanguishene's inaugural council meeting for this term. It's an honor to be standing here bringing greetings on behalf of our senior leadership team, which is to my left, as well as our staff as a whole. We really do have tremendous staff, and I like to say we have the best staff across the municipal world. At this point, I would like to just introduce and just ask that senior team waves, and I appreciate that they're here this evening showing support. So you've heard from our clerk, Stacy Cooper, who does tremendous work. Sherry Desjardins, our Director of Recreation and Community Services. Brian Murray is our Director of Public Works. Andrea Betty is our Director of Planning and Community Development. Carrie Robillard is our Director of Finance, Treasurer. This evening, we have Pierre Genier pinch hitting for our Fire Chief. Pierre is our Deputy Fire Chief. Thank you, Pierre, for joining us. We also have Sarah Marshall with us in the back. Sarah's our Communications and IT Coordinator, which plays an integral part to this evening. And last but not least, Kelly Cole is in the very, very back in Kelly fashion. She's waving. This evening would not happen without Kelly and certainly Stacy's support. So a big round of applause to the entire senior team. On behalf of senior team, I'd like to welcome and again congratulate members of council. Certainly as a senior team and staff as a whole, we look forward to working collaboratively with the team to accomplish council and the community's strategic goals and priorities. Through collaboration, we will make remarkable progress through the exchange of ideas, cumulative effort, team energy, and passion. I'm going to share a quote from the late Henry Ford, and it's about team. Coming together is a beginning. Keeping together is a progress. Working together is success. And when I read that quote, I thought, what more of a fitting quote for an evening like this with an inaugural council, such great community representation and such great staff representation. So it really is truly about a team accomplishing goals. Tonight is the beginning of a new journey and with a new collective team who is about to continue advancing the puck down the ice. And that's my little hockey analogy. Again, I speak on behalf of my senior leadership team, which again, along with staff, make things happen at this community with direction from our governance and elected officials. Three things I'd like to leave you with. I'd like to congratulate again each and every one of you on council. I'd like to thank you as well as your family. Your families play a significant part in the service that each one of you will perform and conduct on behalf of the community over the next 48 months, as well as your future ready leadership. And last but not least, I'd like to just reiterate our eagerness as a group of administration and as a group of staff to work with you over the next 48 months for the betterment of this wonderful community. Thank you. Merci, miigwech.
Eight years ago, I was here at my first inaugural, and the late Moreland Lynn spoke and addressed our council. And Moreland spoke to us about the duty to serve and what that means. And I've been reflecting since election day about how we can bring that same flavor here tonight. And there's only one person that can speak to that same caliber in my mind, and that's our former MP, Bruce Stanton. I think Bruce, regardless of what stripe you are, everyone has been touched by Bruce. I think his commitment and devotion to our community is unparalleled to anyone. I know, Bruce, you are just a pillar to the community and the people you've served. I know you've left a last impression on me and a lot of people. So I've asked Bruce if he could share some words of wisdom and encouragement to our council in serving the community. Bruce.
Well, thank you, Mayor Rawson, and good evening, council, elected members of our neighboring municipalities here present. I see some of you, some are new as well, and I hope to get the chance to meet you as well. Je reconnais premièrement cette terre est la terre de peuples autochtones, les Hurons-Wendat, la nation Anishinaabe et les Métis de notre région. Je remercie l'honorable maire Rawson pour l'invitation d'assister à cette première réunion. First, I'd like to congratulate all the members of council on their election or re-election, as the case may be, and really commend the number of candidates who were involved in this last month's election. It certainly shows a vibrancy and democracy here in this community. So as Mayor Rawson said, my purpose here tonight is to share a few things that I learned from my years in public service as the MP for Simcoe North in the House of Commons. Now, I recognize that, quite honestly, there are members here assembled who have infinitely more time in public service than I do. And I think of Councillor LaRue and Deputy Mayor LaRose, each of whom have assembled much years of public service. I think of Councillor Vadabon-Kerr, who perhaps this is only his second term in elected office, but who has a career of dedicated service in municipal government. And so really it ends up with returning members and new members to council, Councillors Marchand, DeRoche, and Waters, to whom most of my comments will be directed. But regardless of what your stature is, all of you have been charged with the duties of council that the voters of Penetanguishene have bestowed upon you to serve the interests of the people, of the town as a whole, and all within the framework of the laws and responsibilities that you take on as elected officials. So it's in that vein that I hope to add a few tidbits that might be of interest. So the Merriam-Webster Dictionary describes politics as the total complex of relations between people living in society, which is to say that all of you already have a vast wealth of experience when it comes to politics, the kind of politics that you encounter in your daily lives, at work, in your church, your family, your community associations. So the success that you have in those activities is going to help you succeed in this work as well. The real difference is that politics in this arena means that you're working in a legally constituted public forum, and there's tremendous consequences to the 10,000 or more people that live in this community. As we heard from Hayden earlier, the things that you decide upon matter to the people here in town. And it's also fair to say that the programs, the laws, the policies that you're going to be dealing with these next 4 years are becoming more complex. They're loading more responsibilities on the key work of a municipality. The issues and decisions you're going to be deliberating on matter a great deal to the people here, whether it's policing, fire and emergency preparedness, municipal services, commerce, recreation, the arts, and culture, to name a few. The weight of these responsibilities is considerable, and managing it through your term is going to take quite an amount of research and reading and learning of your own, and including communicating to the people in your town, communicating about the work that you're doing. And this is where your existing skills in politics is going to come into view. Connecting with your constituents largely will come down to your own initiative. The telephone calls you return, the visits you make to residents who may be having a problem, the town events you attend, the email and mail responses that you send out, and of course, your posts on social media. And let me add here that there is no better way to make a positive impression to a person or a constituent than being present. And if you're not able to be present, a telephone call is probably the next best thing. I can recall scenarios where very contentious disagreements with a constituent, and suddenly the nature of that conversation can become civil and constructive simply by my picking up the phone and making a phone call. And even if at the end of that call that you weren't in agreement, people would respect the fact that you took the time to reach out to them. Communicating effectively to your constituents also means having good information. And in this day and age, and as you all know, I mean, almost 100% of our communications and political work is electronic. So you really end up becoming the documenter in chief of all of the hordes of information and documents that are going to come your way. Getting a system in place to keep track of documents and emails and information, and having a way to be able to get your finger on that when the time comes when you need to have information about an issue that your constituents are asking about. Now, your very capable staff here in the town are going to be a tremendous resource for you on council proceedings and on committees and town business. But when it comes to connecting with the people here in Penetanguishene, you're the main deal. And they'll be looking to you to speak to them about complicated issues and speak to them about it in a way that they can understand. Now, when I say that, don't imagine for a minute that that has anything to do with their lack of insight, because from my point of view, the people here are incredibly perceptive and knowledgeable about the issues in this town. And when you find yourself defending a policy that a resident disagrees with, well, you're facing one of the most important times for an elected official. You know your subject, have the ability to listen to the concerns and put yourself in the shoes of your constituent. All of this is going to help you succeed. You don't have to agree at the end of that exchange, but how you handle that disagreement is going to be noticed. And more likely, people will relay that to others that they come in touch with. Now, I know much of what I've said is very straightforward and in line with what you may expect in your new roles or returning roles here on council. But let me say, when you put these relatively simple tools in place, the people here in this town are going to very much appreciate your work. As you look out at the coming term, as been said before, don't forget to seek the support of your family. They are surely proud of the achievement you've made in assuming this role here on council. They may not be elected, but they will be sharing in the task that you have ahead, possibly accompanying you at events, definitely missing you when you're on town business, and accepting the greater responsibilities you now have to the town and the citizens. You have the privilege of making a very positive difference in the lives of the people here. The colleagues you will work with, the decisions you make, and the determination you take and give in this role, all of these will add to the richness and character of Penetanguishene. So onward, and may the town of Penetanguishene and its citizens be the proud recipients of your devotion to public service this next 4 years. All the best.
Bruce, thank you so much. A lot of tonight has been about community. It's been about partnerships. It's been about building bonds with community partners. And I want to extend our appreciation and thanks to other partners that are here tonight. Maybe they can say a couple words as well. So first off, we'll look to Mayor Bill Gordon from the town of Midland, who's a partner. Bill, if you want to identify your team or say a couple words, you're more than welcome.
So there's a lot of work that has been done, a lot of previous terms that we council. And we have to continue that. We have my council. We're in the water. We look for the collaborative for the next 4 years and find ways to make all that. Thanks for that. And we have here and fun. And we see all of here as well. And we play nervous.
Thanks very much, Mayor Gordon, and to your team for coming tonight. And I'll look to Mayor Evans from Tiny Township. Thank you, Mayor Evans. I wasn't going to say anything, but you had a couple more minutes to speak than I did today. I'm going to turn to Mayor Walker from Tate Township. Thank you, Mayor Walker. I'd also like to recognize our South Georgian Bay OPP Acting Detachment Commander Derek Banks here this evening. Thank you. And Staff Sergeant Natalie Major and Staff Sergeant Lee Janot. Thank you again for your participation tonight. I'd like to take this time now to give every member of council an opportunity to say a few words, and we'll do this alphabetically. We're going to turn to, we'll go back. Councillor DeRush.
Thank you. Good evening, bonsoir. I would like to begin by thanking all those who put their names forward to serve Penetanguishene, and congratulations to all those elected. The voters have spoken, and with that comes a tremendous sense of responsibility. Il est maintenant le temps de passer au travail du peuple. The town of Penetanguishene is the quaintest, most beautiful little town in the county of Simcoe, and that's, of course, my humble opinion. It boasts an impressive waterfront park laced with cultural diversity and natural treasures. It has rich historical roots, along with beautiful buildings combining heritage with modern features. But the town of Penetanguishene also has challenges ahead with big decisions to be made. I look forward to working with my colleagues on council to make our little town the best it can be. Je suis une personne chevronnée et ambitieuse, voire passionnée par la communauté. My personal philosophy is where there is a will, there is a way. Residents can count on me to listen and to act. In partnership with all residents, devoted staff, and responsible government, we will search for solutions together that will not only address resident needs, but will also protect town assets, making Penetanguishene the best place it can be to live and play. Enfin et surtout, c'est mon travail en tant que conseillère de représenter Penetanguishene et les gens qui y vivent. I've been elected as Penetanguishene councillor, and I couldn't have done it without so many of you. From my family who supported me every step of the way, to those who signed my nomination papers, to my colleagues who cheered me on, to my friends who reached out, advised, coached, and encouraged, to those who supported me with signs on their lawns, and finally, to those who voted for me, merci. I approach this role with humility, seriousness, and the utmost respect. You have placed your trust in me, and I will work diligently to be worthy of your continued support. Thank you, Penetanguishene.
Councillor Roux.
Good evening, your worship, fellow councillors, staff, and distinguished guests. Thank you for joining us for this historic occasion. I am both honored and humbled by the trust the ratepayers of Penetanguishene have placed in me once again. I fully appreciate the responsibility bestowed upon me. You have my pledge that I will continue to work on behalf of all the constituents of Penetanguishene. It is a significant but critical milestone in our history because the decisions our council make today will be felt by generations to come. We have the opportunity to chart a new course to move Penetanguishene forward. We have a unique culture and history that should embody a fair and rewarding lifestyle for everyone. Our economic development strategy must be focused on attracting, retaining, and encouraging new businesses, not empty buildings. In this past year alone, no less than 8 new businesses have made Penetanguishene their home. Hard work, determination, commitment to ethical standard practices, and mutual respect will ensure success. I say that our future looks bright if we continue this course. I assure you that our town will remain one of the best places to live, work, and raise your family with the quality of life that everyone deserves. I look forward to working with council, our amazing staff, to move our town forward. Mes amis, je suis honoré par la confiance qui m'a été accordée et les responsabilités imposées par la communauté francophone durant mon mandat comme maire. Soyez rassurés que je continuerai à travailler pour vous tous. Je serai disponible aux francophones. Thank you. Merci, miigwech.
Thank you, Councillor Roux. Councillor Marshall.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. Unlike my fellow colleagues and fellow nominated individuals who have been sworn in here this evening, I'm going to speak on the fly, and I think that makes a lot of people nervous on a regular basis. I do want to say, first of all, thank you first and foremost for the support and all of the words of encouragement during the campaign process. I have aspired since a very young age to be engaged and active in politics, and for me, this is a really exciting and special evening. Benita, I'm glad you got emotional because I thought I'm probably going to get emotional here as well. I have friends, family, and my son is here tonight. My daughter is at university. She couldn't be here, but she might be watching live. So hi, Kate. I do want to say that I am flattered and I was really touched in terms of the support I've received as I went out and canvassed and put my name forward. I've been a very active member in this community for a very long time. Started as student council president, and I think really that's where everything started from. And so since then, I've had an opportunity to work in the municipal environment. I've been a leader in all throughout my entire career. And with that, I understand the responsibilities that come along with that. I look forward to working with this really tremendous staff. Orientation has been really great. We had the opportunity to see the town. And I really do look forward to making a difference. I believe wholeheartedly in living, working, and playing in your community and making an impact. I really focused on canvassing and really talking about building an environment in a community that is for all generations, not just there are seniors within our community or our young families, but it's that everybody feel that they belong and have somewhere to contribute and be a part of. Un gros merci à tout le monde. Je suis un fier francophone aussi. Et puis, je suis très contente d'être ici ce soir. And thank you all. And I look forward to serving the town for the next 4 years. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Marchand and Councillor Vadabunker.
Thank you, Mayor Rawson. Good evening, everyone. I'm both humbled and honored to be elected for a second term to represent the residents of Penetangwisheen. I also want to acknowledge and thank the past council under the leadership of Mayor Doug LaRue for the progress the town made over the past 4 years, moving the town forward on a number of fronts. I'm excited about working with this new council under Mayor Doug Rawson. We have 3 new council members with fresh ideas and a passion for Penetangwisheen that will complement the knowledge and experience of returning members. I would also like to acknowledge our staff. Penetangwisheen has always punched above its weight class, and under the leadership of our CAO, Jeff Lees, our staff continue to deliver programs and services that are comparable to larger municipalities. Well done. I look forward to working with you over the next 4 years. Finally, I'd like to thank my wife, Catherine, for her support. I could not do all that I do, both on council and in the community, without her support. She is here with my sons, William and Eric, and daughter-in-law, Jamie. Thank you very much for coming. Thank you all.
Thank you, Councillor Vadabunker. Councillor Waters.
Well, I'd like to thank everybody for putting your trust into me. It's going to be a new experience for me. And I don't know how many of you know it, but I'm just here by a tie. So your vote does count. I'd also like to make mention to Hayden and his class. They came down to visit at work and meet my dog, and I was impressed. And also the Burkeville Choir when they were here. One of the things that I will be looking after is Parks and Rec, so all the fun things in town. And I hope to get young people involved in it, as well as obviously the older folks. But I think the future of the town is with the young people, and we need to listen more to them and do what they want.
Thank you, Councillor Waters. And then just turn your mic off. Mic off. Thank you. Deputy Mayor LaRose.
Thank you, Your Worship. As always, as everybody knows, I will be quite brief. I'd like to take a moment to thank my wife and my 2 sons and a couple extra people that are here. Big guy in the back, Alex, and Doug Senior Rawson. Without you guys, couldn't happen. I'd also like to thank our residents for taking the time to vote, for all your feedback during the campaign, for those of you who allowed me to come to your house, to put up a sign on your lawn, and for your continued support. I'm greatly appreciative of the trust and the opportunity to represent you as your new deputy mayor. I would also like to add a special thank you to Stacy Cooper and Kelly Cole for looking after the election and making sure events like this, like tonight, take place. They do a good job, and it's very underrated. There's several issues and challenges that council will have to deal with over the next term. I look forward to working with our enthusiastic new team to solve them. With the input, collaboration, and support of our knowledgeable residents, dedicated volunteers, and hardworking staff led by our CAO, Jeff Lees, I'm confident that we are in for a very exciting and productive 4 years. Can't wait to get started. Thank you.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor LaRose. I'm so honored and humbled to be here with everyone tonight. And I want to start by thanking my wife, Dawn. You're my life partner, and I love you. Thank you. Morgan's laughing. To my kids, Alex, Reed, and Morgan. Can't say enough how much Mom and I are proud of you, and we love you guys immensely. Just thank you, thank you, thank you. To my mom and dad, thank you for making what we have and what I have and who we are. So thank you, Dad. Family's everything, and my dad and mom made family and community about that, and that's what Don and I are continuing with our kids today. To our community, nearly 3,000 people voted in the last election. 4,000 people didn't vote. This council is going to be working very hard to represent everybody because we want to make sure that everyone's engaged and wants to be part of the conversation moving forward. I want to give thanks to everyone that's participated in tonight's inaugural event. This inaugural event is a celebration of you. It's a celebration of our community. It's about us coming together as one community. I want to pass a special thanks to people that really made tonight happen. So thanks to Elizabeth LaRush for leading the procession as our piper tonight. I want to thank Lynn Cousins from Burkeville School, the chair of Burkeville School, for helping facilitate having the choir and leading us to our national anthem tonight. Thank you, Lynn. I want to thank Catherine, the Shiganik Women's Drum Circle, for their participation in sharing in song with us tonight. I want to thank MP Adam Chambers and Jill Dunlop and Jill's representative Leslie for being here tonight. And George for your comments as well. Councillor Reed from Bosley First Nation, thank you so much for being part of this celebration. And to President Greg Garrett for your comments. We look forward to building on our relationship. And Gagne, merci. Hayden, to you, to your peers, to your teacher, to your entire group, we're listening, and thank you again for having the courage to talk. Bruce Stanton, I can't say thanks enough. The councillors DeRush, LaRue, Marchand, Vadabanker, Waters, and Deputy Mayor LaRose. I look forward to our conversations and working collaboratively in conjunction with our staff to build upon the great successes our town's already found. You know, it's been mentioned tonight that all of our North Simcoe communities have completed their inaugurals. And at every inaugural, the mayors usually leave by stating how great their staff is. And I've been thinking to myself, how do I up them? Because if I say it, it seems what else is said, but it's true. And here's why. I was here in 2014 and did our inaugural night, and our same team is still here. But if we look across our neighbors, nothing personal, there's been some changes. And we've got depth on the bench, but the passion, the drive, and the commitment is unfound anywhere else. Jeff, I want to thank you for your leadership and for bringing forward the vision and the aspiration of the team. Stacy, Dan mentioned this. You leading what you lead and how you led the election process. I was commented by many people about how welcoming and friendly and you were able to achieve the customer service friend that people were looking for. So thank you for that. Paul's not here, so I'm not going to talk about him. He would appreciate that. To Brian, Brian, thank you for everything you do. I know when we were leaving our orientation, I remember saying to Dan, a couple of counselors, I don't know how you got that much stuff inside your head. I really don't. You can rhyme off so many things in such a long period of time, but thank you. And Carrie, thanks for the craftsmanship of the numbers. And we're looking forward to diving into the budget with you next week. And Sherry, same thing for the passion and drive for the service level that the community touches probably the most with recreational service and events and planning, and really for your stewardship of the programs. And Andrea, for the future planning and growth and development and the attention to details and the work that you do for the work. Thank you to you. And I believe Deputy Mayor mentioned already, and so did Jeff, but to Kelly, for your work in putting it all together. It's mentioned several times that you are the glue that makes everything happen. So thank you. And I'm remiss if I didn't say, and I can't say all the names because I won't get it all right tonight, but to their respective staff, the respective staff that are at the arena at 6 o'clock in the morning to open up, to answer the phone calls, to do all of the things that we all rely on. Thank you to you. Without you doing what you do, none of this would be possible. I also want to acknowledge the thousands of hours of volunteer work done by everybody that's part of service groups, committees, working groups within the community. And there's too many to name, but without the volunteerism and the dedication contribution of you, none of this would be possible. Our community is only strong and vibrant as you are. And without our volunteers and all the service groups and works, none of this would be possible. And to our neighbors, that's why we're better. During the campaign, many people would state to me, what is the biggest issue? And what is the thing that I want to tackle? What are the problems? And I tend to look at it a little differently. I tend to look at what are the opportunities. We have a dynamic community built on a rich history of culture, faith, language, and people that come together in solving problems and creating a community of one. I've really appreciated the opportunity in having one-to-one meetings with our council and figuring out what our future path looks like. And we're all focused and engaged on the community and emphasizing on communication. We have several big items to discuss, and we'll have a generational impact on what we achieve, but we will get it right. We'll focus on tax impacts while exploring and building on relationships of shared services with our municipal partners. We'll invest in the capital plan to maintain our infrastructure. We'll work with the OPP, our policing partner, making our community safer. We'll implement best practices to support a safe community. Too often I heard from residents that it does not matter as the town will go ahead anyways, or the decision is already made. We will engage, and we will meaningfully engage. I will close with a quote by Sir Winston Churchill. Courage is what it takes to stand up and speak. Courage is also what it takes to sit down and listen. We're going to move on to our council appointments. I have a mover and a seconder for our council appointments for our 4 respective committee of the whole sections. It's moved by Deputy Mayor LaRose, seconded by Councillor Vadabonker, that the council of the town of Penetangwishing ratify the council member appointments to town section committees as presented by the mayor. And they are Finance and Corporate Services Section Chair, Councillor Benita DeRush. Vice Chair, Deputy Mayor Dan LaRose. Transportation Environmental Services Section Chair, Councillor Suzanne Marchand. Vice Chair, Councillor Doug LaRue. Recreation and Community Services Section Chair, Councillor Bill Waters. Vice Chair, Deputy Mayor Dan LaRose. Planning and Development Services Section Chair, Councillor George Vedabunker. Vice Chair, Councillor Doug LaRue. We'll call for the vote. All in favor? And opposed? And that is carried. In bylaws, we have 2 bylaws that require ratification this evening. One is the bylaw 2022-62, being a bylaw to provide the signing authority, and bylaw 2022-63, being a bylaw to confirm the proceedings of the Council of the Corporation of the Town of Penetangwishing at the special inaugural meeting held on November 23rd, 2022. I have a mover by Deputy Mayor LaRose, seconded by Councillor Vadabunker. That bylaw 2022-62 and 2022-63 be read a first time and deemed to be read a second time, a third time, and carried. Call for the vote. All in favor? And opposed? And that is carried. At every council meeting, we recite our town commitment. And tonight was the first night of engaging and being inclusive of our community. And we're going to start tonight for the first time in reciting our town commitment in French, and then we're going to recite it in English. I'll ask council to rise. Councillor Roux, I'm going to ask you to lead us in the French, and then I'll follow up with the English. Thank you.
Engagement du Conseil pour la ville de Penetanguishene. Nous sommes reconnaissants des nombreuses grâces accordées à Penetanguishene et à ses citoyens, dont la liberté, les possibilités et la paix dont nous jouissons. Que nous soyons des intendants dignes de tout ce qui nous est confié. Nous demandons que toutes les personnes présentes et celles qui n'ont pas pu se présenter nous aident à promouvoir une bonne gouvernance. Que nos décisions à titre de membres du Conseil soient éclairées et que nous soyons tous renforcés à prendre conscience de nos devoirs et nos responsabilités. Que l'on nous accorde la sagesse, la connaissance, la volonté et la compréhension qui nous permettront de préserver la bonne fortune de la ville au bénéfice de tous, ainsi que de faire de bonnes lois et prendre de sages décisions. Merci de votre présence.
Thank you, Councillor LaRue. We are grateful for the many gifts which have been bestowed upon Penetanguishene and its citizens, including the gifts of freedom, opportunity, and peace that we enjoy. May we be worthy custodians of all that has been entrusted to us. We ask that all in attendance and those that could not be here assist us in promoting good government. May our decisions as members of council be enlightened, and may we be strengthened in our awareness of our duties and responsibilities. May we be granted the wisdom, knowledge, and will, and understanding to preserve the good fortune of the town of the benefit of all, to make good laws and wise decisions. Thank you. And my apologies, Jane Sinclair. Thank you for your participation tonight from the County of Simcoe. Deputy Mayor LaRose poked me about that, so thank you for your attendance this evening. Thank you to everybody for your participation and for attending tonight. This concludes the official portion of the meeting tonight. We have a mover from Deputy Mayor LaRose, seconder from Councillor Vadabunker, that the meeting will be adjourned at 8:33, and we'll call for the vote. All in favor? Opposed, and that is carried. Thank you, everyone, again for joining us tonight. We do have some refreshments, I believe, in the committee hall. And again, thank you, Stacy, Jeff,